you actually listen to what Tony Abbott said, then I'm not sure he committed any great sin. Have a look at this.
I'll ask you once more, and if you don't want to answer directly, that's fine, I'll move on. But are you thinking that on the current trajectory, though, that the government will lose the election unless it changes?
Well, plainly, we are facing many challenges, Andrew. We had the Cory Bernardi breakaway a couple of weeks back. One Nation support is surging. Now, much as I think Pauline Hanson is a much more mature political operator now than she was, the fact is minor parties, fringe parties are much better at grievance than they are at solutions. So if you want a good government, you really have no option but to back the Liberal National Coalition. But plainly, there are lots of people who are concerned about our direction, and plainly the risk is that we will drift to defeat if we don't lift our game.
Now, I would have thought that that's not all that damaging. I mean, every one of us knows that the polls have been consistently terrible for the Turnbull government. The last news poll, I think, had them 4 points behind, 52-48. And if that result was delivered in an election, then of course they'd be wiped out. There would be a big Labor majority. So why can't a member of the party, a senior member, and they don't come much more senior than Tony Abbott, just say, look, people think we're going in the wrong direction, we need a new and better direction? If you can't say that, then it seems to me that political debate in Australia has stopped, dead, right? We're just kangaroos in the spotlight, we're not doing anything, we just stand still. I think what Tony Abbott did was pretty good, but Matthias Cormann didn't think so.
There is nothing good that comes from an interview like that. It was deliberately destructive. It was completely unhelpful. It was not designed to be helpful. He was not trying to help our cause or help our country. It was quite self-indulgent.
Matthias, the king is dead, long live the king. There was Matthias, the great supporter of Tony Abbott, voted for him in the ballot, even when he knew that Turnbull was going to win. And now there's a new leader, and Matthias is right with him. I thought it was all a bit over the top, but it was nowhere near the response of Malcolm Turnbull, that's for sure.
I'm not going to be distracted by outbursts like that. We all know what it's about. As Matthias Cormann said, it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. But what I'm sad about is that Malcolm Turnbull felt he had to say that. How much better and more statesmanlike would it have appeared if he said, look, the last few polls have suggested we're not going all that well, and so this is what we're doing about it, and we're trying really hard. I wish Tony wouldn't keep reminding me of that, but that's where we are. I mean, you're far better off acknowledging what everybody knows. I always say the mob will always work you out, and they know what's happening. The mob are the ones who are in the polls who are telling you that they don't want to vote for you, Malcolm. I think you're better off listening to some of the things that Tony said. Well, I mightn't agree with them personally. For Conservatives in Australia, as a way forward, I think they make a bit more sense than some of the things you're doing. Nonetheless, I have no doubt that Tony Abbott will continue to be ignored. Such is politics.